Linda is about to make a road trip from Singapore all the way up to Hat Yai, driving through the East Coast, taking more than 1,000 kilometers on this journey. So today we're going to find out from Linda how she prepares for a Tesla road trip, what inspired her to make the trip through the East Coast, and what tips she has for other Tesla owners who want to make their own road trips. Click subscribe and stay updated to more videos on Tesla. Linda's making this trip because this is part of our TeslaCon celebration of the regional supercharger network being open in Southeast Asia for the first time. So we have Thai drivers, we've got Malaysian drivers and Singaporean drivers driving from Bangkok, going down to Hat Yai, then going further south to Kuala Lumpur and finally down to Singapore to join us for our event on 11 November. Linda, welcome back to the channel. Can you share with us how do you prepare for your road trip?
Okay, there were three main areas where I was preparing. One was obviously I needed to make sure that my car was roadworthy. So there were things like I needed to replace my 12-volt battery because mine is an older car, so I wouldn't want it to fail along the way. And next, I actually refreshed my solar film and my PPF. And solar film was a 3M package that Tesla offers, as well as PPF to just protect my car so that I don't have to deal with the inevitable bumps and chips. And I actually made sure that my tires were puncture proof. I first checked out the tread wear indicators and I changed those tires that needed to be changed. And then I laid a layer of puncture proof. So we'll talk about that next time. So I wouldn't be stranded because some of the areas I'll be going to might be a little bit ulu. Yeah. And then I made sure that I could communicate with the car, so there was like Wi-Fi routers and I had all my cables for charging in case I get into very hairy situations. Yeah, because the East Coast is not as developed as the West Coast. Tesla is doing their supercharger network more on the West Coast. And so I would be going east up and west down and showing you all like the difference and how you would be considering if you want what you would be doing if you're going to take this route, because the East Coast has its charm. So we don't want to be pigeonholed into like just we can only do it one way. Let's have some fun adventure and see how it can be done, because I'm part of this group called TLKP, Tesla Lakopi. So with this group, I have a lot of resources, a lot of people I can bounce ideas off and say, okay, I have a base itinerary, and then can you look at it to see if it will make sense? And then let's calculate, do all the calculations and where we should be tweaking it.
That sounds like a lot of prep for your Tesla before a road trip, which is going to be almost a week long, going all the way up to Thailand and back down. So Linda changed her 12-volt battery. For most owners, they typically change it once every 2 to 3 years.
Yes.
The good news, if you are getting the upgraded Model 3, they're now using a 16-volt battery that should last for the car's entire lifetime.
Yeah.
So Teslas get better over time, making your driving experience easier. You talked about PPF, which for newbies like me, that's paint protection film. That's basically like your iPhone screen protector. Same idea for the cars. So our sponsor 3M is providing paint protection film, and you can check out their booth to learn a little bit more to protect your car from rock chips, from any scratches, from any damages. And right now, as we speak, Linda's Model 3 is in a workshop getting a new fresh 3M 90% solar tint being installed in her front window panels.
Yes.
So there's so much prep that goes into the car itself. What do you prep for yourself? Because you are traveling in 2 different countries, to Malaysia, to Thailand. You got to think about the logistics beyond the car, like hotels, food. Tell us more about this process.
Oh, so that's actually the easy part. But in order to optimize it to suit my Tesla's charging schedule, for example, so I have an ideal of where I would be going, and then I'll look at apps. So there are a few apps that we are looking at. One would be PlugShare, another would be a Better Route Planner, ABRP. Once I plug in where I want to go, the route planner would kind of tell you where to charge and that, etc. Except that along the East Coast, there's a dearth of chargers. So I will have to concentrate more on the PlugShare to make sure I match my destinations according to that. Yeah. So I also have to make sure that in case I get into areas where there's no reception, I also want to have my maps loaded offline as well, in case I need to. Yeah, and in case I get into things like a towing situation, whatever
Yeah.
it may be. I'm trying to avoid that with the tires already, but you never know what happens. So if there's towing or breakdown, then what are the things that I need to look out for example? Yeah.
Can you guide us, because you've done a lot of research, Linda? If let's say there's a fault on your Tesla, that's scenario 1. Scenario 2 is you get into a car accident. What would happen in both scenarios? Let's say you're in Kuantan.
Kuantan. Yes. Okay, so if I called Tesla, they would told me to Tesla in Malaysia. Yeah, and then that's if it's a breakdown. And the problem with that is I would have no idea how long it will take to repair. And if it were an accident, I will probably have to get my own tow, which would be reimbursed at least partially by my insurer. Yeah. So each insurer has their own geographical limits. So on top of the default insurance geographical limits, once I reach Thailand, I will have to extend that with some more Thailand insurance.
If that happens through insurance, if your car gets in an accident in Kuantan, would they tow your car to a workshop in KL or all the way back to Singapore?
I could arrange a tow to the border, and then once it reaches no man's land, then my Singapore tow, I get another one to tow me back to my workshop, for example.
I see.
I won't want to tow, no.
We'll do our best to avoid that, but that clearly shows the amount of research it takes to travel across 3 different countries for a big road trip. For some EV owners, they even purposely look for hotels that have EV chargers.
Yes.
However, in your case, you're going through the East Coast, which is a much more difficult route than going through the West Coast or the North-South Expressway. So that's less an option for you because there are a lot less hotels with EV chargers in East Coast now.
Luckily, so because there are so little hotels, and so little charging, I really have to look very hard. And you can, I mean, the most convenient ways to charge your car are either while you're sleeping or while you're eating or playing.
Yeah.
So one of the charging points would be at the Mersing Jetty using a wall plug. That is one of the possibilities. And then another one would be at the hotels. So our Malaysian counterparts have like kindly taught me, oh, you can go here and here. They have all the lobang. So on PlugShare, we have some advice as well. So we can choose between these hotels and say, oh, this one nicer or whatever. Yeah, and then there's always a backup because things always happen. Someone could be hogging it, or they're just there, they finish charging, and then else is spoiled. Yeah.
Yes.
So you never really know. So there's always backup, and never arrive empty. Yeah.
Linda is taking a more difficult route than most of us will ever take. If you're going through the main cities, Johor Bahru, Malacca, KL, Ipoh, Penang, you won't have problems finding EV chargers. Just now, Linda mentioned 2 apps that she installed, a better route planner to plan the EV driving route, and PlugShare to see the EV charging stations. However, when we travel to different countries, Malaysia and Thailand, we may have to download other apps for the local ecosystem too. Can you tell us a bit more about the other apps you've installed for this trip?
We can refer to the live stream that you were on just a few days ago. So I learned from there that there were 3 apps that we would use for Thailand. One of them is Alexa, one of them is Galvanic, and the other one I cannot remember. I've written down. Yeah, but my friend, another friend has gone to Thailand on just Alexa. But I'm just going to download everything. Just be careful. Just download everything. Yeah, and then just test and then make sure, because some of them, I mean, sometimes the issues are you need addresses that are local. Sometimes you need credit cards that are local. So everything just test first. Yeah, that's over there. And then in Malaysia, it's just quite a bit, like for example, Jom Charge, Charge EV, Settle. Yeah, there are quite a few.
So you hear so many apps, which is a good thing. That means a lot more EV chargers. However, one recent development in our region is that there are now supercharger stations across Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore. In Malaysia, there are already 3 live supercharger stations. Pavilion KL, the first one. We've got Sunway Pyramid, also in KL. And we've got the Sunway Big Box in Johor, which Linda went with our team member Kian for the opening ceremony. There's one under construction in Malacca, almost open. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it could open by next week. Then Linda could use it on the way back down. So with the supercharger network in Thailand, in Malaysia, and Singapore, is it much easier as an experience because you've done road trips in other countries also with Teslas.
Yeah, when I was in the US, having a supercharger meant supercharged. They are not just fast; they're super fast. So you can within even 10 minutes you can get a maybe even like 30% charge, depending. Of course, the lower you are, the faster you charge. So ABRP will help you plan based on what you want. Like it could charge maybe 5 minutes, and then you can go to the next one. When there's a network, it means that your life is so much better.
And you don't need to use separate credit cards, even if you're in different countries. All you need for Singaporean drivers is your Singaporean credit card, type your Tesla account, and that's it. Linda said they're fast, they're 250 kilowatt chargers. And the uptime is very high. Usually they're working most of the time. And then usually there are amenities nearby also, like malls, toilet, coffee. So that's a good stop because they don't take too long. You made other road trips before, Linda. And whether it's an ICE car and EVs across Europe, in Africa, what's the biggest lesson you've learned from your past road trips?
Have a buffer. I'm still learning that lesson. Yeah, but it's a lesson that is very important, I feel. Yeah, so it's especially important when I have an EV, I feel, because petrol stations were like everywhere you have petrol stations. Yeah, but charging stations could sometimes be a bit scarce.
So have a buffer, have some backup plans. What if a charging station doesn't work? What if you miss your stop or your exit? Have a contingency plan.
Yeah, and then sometimes because when I drive quite fast, sometimes I accelerate very hard, and that really drains the battery. So one lesson I will be trying out will be to drive very efficiently along this trip, because that would mean that I can actually reach my destination. Yeah. So I have, if I don't reach, what is my backup plan? Is there somewhere I can, okay, I think I'm gonna like run out of battery, I'm gonna have to charge here.
That means ideally driving 110 kilometers per hour and below. 90 to 110 is a good sweet spot. Be a good disciplined driver.
It's not going to be easy, but we have autopilot, which would be helping us. So everything auto helps with all the efficiency. Yeah, and there are so many things, like even the solar film helps with the efficiency.
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't need to be so I don't need to have the aircon so high. Yeah.
And sometimes when you're driving, fatigue sets in for long road trips. That's why Tesla drivers love autopilot. In this road trip they're going to be making from Singapore to Thailand, what percentage of the whole trip do you think will be on autopilot?
Maybe 50 to 70%. It depends. Yeah, because I have never been. I don't know what the road condition would be like. And one thing about autopilot, it really reduces driver fatigue. So I would think of it as driver assistance. I always have it on in the background, but the level of control I have is still there, just to make sure that I'm safe. It's a backup. Like for example, if I drift off, then at least I can keep a distance, for example, or I keep within my lane, for example. Yeah, or it keeps the speed. Yeah.
It's a good co-pilot. Doesn't replace Linda yet. Yeah. Linda still loves driving. Safety is important. Will you still use autopilot when it's raining?
I do. I just set it as a lower thing. But because actually autopilot is very good, in my opinion, for keeping that safety distance and keeping within the lane. And when it's raining and your visibility is compromised, it really helps, because sometimes, especially go left a bit, right a bit, and then it will definitely be better than me in certain circumstances. And you can see beyond what I can see. Sometimes, even if I can see something, it senses that the trajectory would not make it.
Right.
Yeah, and I might not be able to react that quickly.
Oh, that's a good aid. Tesla has both passive and active safety systems like autopilot, the automatic emergency braking, the sentry mode, the dash cam, and again the whole body of the Model 3 helped absorb a lot. The battery at the bottom in skateboard format means that the center of gravity is much lower. It's harder to flip the car, and there are floods in Perak right now. So the cool thing about EVs is that you can drive through light floods.
Yes, but from the insurance point of view, we've got to make sure that we are in a truly bo pian situation. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not oh, I can surf. Let's do
Yeah.
surfing. Yeah, we have to prove that we try our best.
Okay.
And yeah.
So don't drive to McVitchy Reservoir today. Do it only in emergencies like a real flood. One last question. What's one tip you have for other Tesla owners who want to make their own road trips in the future?
I think you should always talk to people, talk to other people, and make sure you do your research. Because even if you've done your research, when other people who are more experienced, they see it and then they will laugh at you. For example, I always think consultation is very important.
So you're not alone. Ask the community for help. Whether it's Tesla La Copy, the Tesla Owners Singapore, your peers, your friends, your colleagues who own Teslas as well, or even other EV owners. The community is growing and they're all willing to help each other. If you have any questions for Linda or myself about her road trip experience, let us know down in the comments. In the coming days, we will share more short snippets about her entire journey. The charging experience across different countries, using autopilot. What else?
Even about tires, about the solar film.
Yeah?
Yeah, and then there'll be a lot of like efficiency tips.
Yes, that's right. So she's going to use multiple charging networks, not just Tesla superchargers, but also others that are available. So click subscribe to stay updated to more videos on Tesla. If you found this video useful, please click the like button. Bye bye.